September 2025 edition. Tonight, I want to speak about taking initiative to make your marital relationship work. Taking initiative. Please give me Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6. There's a lot to draw from that scripture as Solomon wrote. Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 6. Maybe I'm waiting for you. All right. Can we read? 1, 2. Yeah? Can you give me? This is too hard. Just give me KJV or give me NLT. All right, let's go. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider our ways and be wise. Next. Yeah? Which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, yes, provided a meat in the summer and gathered our food. Now, the lesson we can learn here is that God was speaking through Solomon to help us to see the need to take initiative in different areas of our lives. What does it mean to take initiative? It means to take steps that are necessary without being told. When a person takes initiative, that individual is acting to make happen, to create effect that needs to be created without being necessarily compelled. And unfortunately, quite a number of people have not learned how to take initiative. And they bring that, their lifestyle. Why not go to the middle so that you don't block other people? Yeah. You know, unfortunately, so many people have not learned to take initiative. So they carry that lifestyle of lack of initiative. They carry it into their marriage. Of course, men are mostly guilty of that. And unfortunately, a marriage can be ruined not only by what you do, but sometimes even what you don't do. And what you don't do sometimes is as a result of the fact that you've not learned to take initiative. You've not learned to do it without being told. You've not learned to do it without being asked about it. And so I'm going to speak about 7 areas that as an individual you need to learn to take initiative. The first of it, which is the foundation, is that you must take initiative to be mindful. Hello? To be what? And to be mindful means you are thinking about your partner. Your mind is considering your partner. You are intentionally thinking about your partner. And the reason why that is necessary is that it is only when you are mindful that you can observe things to adjust. Some people, once they get married, they throw their mindfulness into the dustbin. Hello? There are things that you are supposed to observe without being told. There are things you are supposed to notice without being told. Now, the strength of a marital relationship increases when a partner can easily identify something to be addressed in the other partner without being told. If you are able to pick it up on time, let's give an example. Your partner is hungry, but she does not need to tell you that she's hungry. And then you bring her food. It shows that you are mindful, you are thinking about. or you are married and then your wife cooks normally, but on that day, you are able to pick that this woman is a little stressed. And then you say, babe, guess what? When we get home today, you are not going to cook. Or you don't even tell her, and then you just get to do the thing. And she's like, no, you said, no, don't worry. I've seen that you are tired. I noticed that you are, you have been stressed for today. Let me take this job. What it sends to the partner is a signal that you are mindful of them. And anybody that you are mindful of will tend to love you more. Are you following me, Antonio? So the first rule is to take initiative, to be mindful of, to think about them. Whoever you are in relationship with, marital relationship with, you are thinking about them. You are considering them. They don't need to tell you everything. Because sometimes in marital relationship, there's still some measure of gap that we give ourselves. The man might just feel, I don't want to bother her. A mindful woman knows when the husband does not have money, and she knows what step to take because the man doesn't have much. And if she takes that right step, the man gets happy because she says, my wife is very intelligent. My wife is very caring. She does, I don't even need to tell her some things. She can easily decode. Oh, she didn't just decode, it's that she took initiative by being mindful. You must be mindful. Number 2. Is to take initiative in engaging in impactful conversation. Communication is a lifeline, the lifeblood of any and every relationship. And I must tell you that there are certain serious matter that needs to be discussed. And if you are going to get the best out of your marital relationship, there are seasons you've got to be intentional in engaging your partner in very serious-minded conversation. Am I making sense at all? No? You are discussing a matter and you've got to take the initiative to bring it up. Hello? Sometimes it may not be a fight, but it might be something that you need to both discuss out. And it doesn't have to be the man that is raising the discussion all the time. Neither must it have to be the woman that is raising the discussion all the time. The reality is that there are certain conversations that when you don't have them, they build cracks in the family because you did not have them. You didn't have that discussion. You didn't talk about it. Some of those conversations may be hard, but you have to take initiative. Are you following me at all now? Because it is from the conversations that you have with your partner that you can both settle issues. Because there are issues that you need to nip in the bud before they escalate. And you might have to take initiative, take the steps without being told, without your husband or your wife telling you that we need to talk. You might need to take steps to say, honey, let's talk about this thing. Praise God. Sometimes it might be taking initiative about financial things. Might be money issue. No, don't worry. I'm fine. It might have to be financial things that you guys need to talk about. And you've got to take initiative to ensure that conversation holds. Now, there's something about talking. Okay, let me give you an example. When I met my wife, because I knew the kind of family I was coming from, I began to have a little idea of the kind of family that she's coming from as we interact in our courtship. I saw that there was a need for us to discuss about how we will handle family members. Do you know, in our over 20 years of marriage, my wife and I had never fought over family members. Never. We disagree on some things, but not family members. Not. Why? We talked about it early. We had that serious conversation. And we came to the same page. When it comes to your parent, this is how we will handle them. When it comes to my parents, this is how we will handle them. When it comes to external, extended family, this is how we will handle them. And then we seal it up that way. Are you following me, Antonio? Because many people in marital relationship don't take initiative in engaging in some very serious conversation. They expect that things will just sort themselves out. And many times, there are many things that will never sort themselves out unless you have discussed it. And you discuss so that the two of you can be on the same page. Are you following me, Atona? So we talked about it so that we can be on the same page. For example, we talked about when it comes to giving to my family, we agreed that we will give in our name. Are you following me, Antonio? When we're giving things to my family, if we're giving things to my mother, God bless you, welcome. So good to see Pastor and Pastor Mrs. Adenle from the Elisha Church. Celebrate them. So good to see you. All right. So we agreed that when it comes to my family members, we give in her name. So if I'm giving my mom something now, is that she's the one giving it, or I'm giving it and say, Diola said I should give you. Are you following me at all now? And it was an agreement because we had that serious conversation. When we are giving to a family member, it is Shegun said I should give you. Are you following me at all now? And then when extended family come and then they ask her things, she said, let me discuss with my husband. In fact, everybody in her family knows. Once they come to discuss something with her, the next thing she's going to say is that, let me discuss with my husband. I'll get back to you. Are you following me, Antonio? Now, we had that crucial conversation quite early because I noticed that those unresolved matters are the things that crashes many families. Because they never discuss about it. And because they never discuss about it, everybody just live the way they want to live. Are you following me, Antonio? We also had one of the very interesting conversation, which was about my earning. How much I was going to earn. I remember when I knew that I was going to become a pastor, full-time pastor, I first tried to sort out, okay, like how much will they pay me if I'm even going to? And then I saw that as of that time, the regular payment was between 10,000 and below for where I was going. So I rated the lowest, and the lowest was 3,000. So I just imagined, okay, so if the worst come to worst, even though I was a graduate, what I was going to be earning was 3,000. So we had a discussion that what it means is that as I go this direction, my salary will be 3,000. And if as a man, my salary is 3,000, how do I care for the family? You know, sometimes we don't have this tough conversation. We don't take initiative to think about them and discuss them. And then we just wish that something will just happen. See, nothing will just happen anyhow. You've got to talk about it. You take initiative. Identify things that will be issues and sit down together and talk about it. You might have to take the initiative to say, honey, can we talk about this thing? Oh, babe, let's talk about this matter. And then you talk about it not from the standpoint of, I want to win argument, but from the standpoint of the fact that we want to converse. And from our conversation, we are going to arrive at a point. Okay, let me quickly say this here. Don't engage in conversation with your partner from the standpoint of winning argument. You may win the argument and lose the person. Are you following me at all now? There's no point that you win an argument and you lose your partner in the process. Because the person just say, okay, anytime I'm discussing with her, he just wants to win. All right, just win the argument. The ultimate aim of your conversation must be that we want to come on the same page. We want to be able to see things in the same version. Are you following me at all now? We want to arrive at a point where we are both thinking in the same direction. So I said the second kind of initiative you take is take initiative to hold impactful conversation. Number 3, take initiative to plan the future. Plan and prepare for the future. See, 20 years' time will come upon you just like that. And if you really do not take initiative to plan the future, there will be a problem. I mean, I tell couples when they talk to me, you see, the moment you start having children, start planning ahead of them, for them. Are you following me at all now? You must start thinking. You know the next thing I'm planning now? Thank you. The next thing I'm thinking now, I'm already thinking when my children will be out of the house. They call it empty nest. Because usually when children go to school, they finish from the university, if truly God helps them, they will get jobs. When they get jobs, they start doing their own life. And if as a father or a mother, you will not be a witch. Are you following me at all now? Which I don't intend to be. I don't plan to be a witch. If as a father or mother, you do not plan to be a witch, you must allow your children to go and have their own life. Are you following me at all now? So they will go and start their own life. And I won't say unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, for me, I have boys. So I'm already seeing ahead of time that in the next 5 years, they are gone. So what happens to my wife when they are gone? Are you following me at all now? You've got to think. Take initiative. You don't wait until that time dawns on you. And that was a mistake of many of our mothers. And sometimes they now hold on to their children. They don't want the children to go. That's why you see that some mothers, they now hold on to their son as if, then they give more problem to their daughter-in-laws. Because they have not really taken initiative to consider the future. Am I making sense at all now? You've got to consider the future. 5 years' time, what will it look like? 10 years' time, what will it look like? 6 years' time, what will it look like? From the time my wife and I got married, from time to time, I thought it out about their primary education. I thought out about their secondary education, and I discussed with my wife. I thought about their university education. We then engage in conversation. So while they are in one level, I'm thinking of the next level. Are you following me at all now? I'm considering the next level. The reason is that not by accident. Are you following me at all now? If you don't prepare, you have actually prepared. Did you hear what I'm saying now? If you don't prepare, you have actually prepared. What you have prepared to is that you are prepared to fail. So why not prepare deliberately? Why not prepare intentionally? And you've got to take the initiative. You've got to be intentional in taking the steps, the necessary steps to plan and prepare for the future. When you will be 70, what will happen? Hello? Now, you've got to also prepare me. I'm doing I'm putting something together for people who have less than 5 years in their employment service. And one of the things I'm beginning to find out is that people never prepare for retirement. Most people, retirement just happens to them. Then maybe like 2 years, they just remember, I'll be retiring next year. The maximum some of them even do is to build a house. And what they don't even know is that a house, if you have not prepared what will keep running the house, a house is not just, it's not an asset, it's a liability. Are you following me at all now? The reason is that after you build a house, except you want to live a life that is below comfort, a life, some people have this feeling that, we are going to our own apartment. There's nothing wrong with going to your own apartment. But please don't go to your own apartment with discomfort. It doesn't make sense. One of the things I'm finding out, the quality of your life matters. And sometimes, even if you live in a small house, if it makes your head to be okay, stay there. Do you hear what I've said? Most people are running from paying house rent. See, paying house rent, if it will make your brain to work well, is better than to go to where you will not pay house rent, but your sleep is not good. You are not here with me. And all these things need to be thought about. They are not, they are very serious things. That's why you see rich people. A rich man can decide to go and live in an hotel just because there's no light in his house. And then you say, you now left. You don't understand. There's what you call the quality of living standard. And the more you want to be productive with your life, the more you should consider your living standard. Are you with me at all now? Yes, naturally, when you start life, you may not be able to do much about your living standard. You start at a particular ground zero. But I'm trying to say to you that as you grow, you must take initiative to consider your future. And part of the things you consider in your future is the standard of your living. Are you following me at all now? It is going to be dangerous for you to be 60 and your living standard is bad. You are not here. The way people are looking at me as if I'm speaking... I'm speaking... But I'm telling you the real truth. That's how life works. If you don't take initiative, it will dawn on you. And the responsibility now lies more on the men because you are the leader of the family. So you must take initiative to consider where am I transiting and into what am I transiting my family. And you see men who don't consider those things, when they now reach a particular age and life is a little difficult, they go back to village. There's nothing wrong going back to village, provided that is your plan. But many people go back to village because that's the last resort. And so when they go back to village, the children now become shocked. Their wives also become shocked. And then some of them even die not too long after they reach village because they are not used to dealing with village people. But if your plan had been that you will retire to the village, then it means that part of your preparation will be that you'll be going to village to fraternize with the village people. So that when you finally come, you are part of the village life. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know people who actually have gone back to their villages. They've gone to live in their villages. But the way they transited, you could see that they took initiative to plan it. What I'm saying is that take initiative to prepare and plan about your future. Think 5 years time. Think 6 years time. Think 7 years time. Think 10 years time. Think 20 years time. I'm telling you, as I'm here now, I've already thought 10 years time. All my boys will be married. Their wives will be my friend. I'm deliberately positioning myself. It's not only women that know how to do omogo. Myself, I will do omogo. Praise God. So that their wives will be saying, look, tell daddy to come. I'm already warming up. I'm positioning myself. So once I start seeing any sister that is, I'll say, I'll become the cheerleader. Praise God. You've got to take initiative about it. Number one, are we? All right. You've got to take initiative about filling emotional gaps and meeting emotional needs of your marriage partner. We are talking about taking initiatives to make your marital relationship work. You see, every human being has emotion. No matter how hard that human being appears to be, no matter how tough. Napoleon was said to actually have a woman that was able to capture her heart. Napoleon was ordinarily hard, was a warlord that was hard, conquered so many territories, people feared him and all of that. But there was this prostitute that Napoleon met. There is a way this lady talked to Napoleon. She was, I think they said 10 years or thereabout older than Napoleon. But Napoleon neglected, looked away from all beautiful young ladies and focused on this lady. I think the lady had even been married before. But according to Napoleon's word, there is a way the lady made Napoleon feel. Napoleon felt really on top of the world anytime he's around this lady. What that lady understood was how to meet emotional needs of Napoleon. And if you're in a marital relationship, part of your job is to study the emotional needs of your partner. Some people need attention. And what helps that is that you are able to talk to them, you are able to look at their face, you are able to say things to them from time to time. You call them every now and then. That is what fuels that. Hello? Some is just that you show concern. And that's why we talk about the love language of people and all of that. Love language is just one of the things that helps you to fill emotional gaps. Hello? They say you are emotionally competent when you have the capacity to be able to use emotional knowledge or knowledge about emotions to your advantage or to the advantage of the other person. They say you are emotionally intelligent when you are able to read the emotions of other people and interpret it well. And because we all have emotions, you owe it to yourself as a man, as a woman, to actually take initiative in meeting the emotional need of your partner if you are going to make that relationship work. You see, there's nobody who relates with you who doesn't bring their emotion into it, consciously or unconsciously. Every one of us bring our emotion. Even when you are relating with people, ordinary interaction, every one of us bring our emotions into our interaction with people. And it is stronger when it is a marital relationship. What you say, your spouse, your married partner, will read it with emotions. Your married partner listens to you with emotions. Your married partner is watching your actions with emotions. And so everything about your interaction has some measure of emotions. So you owe it to yourself to take initiative to fill the emotional gaps. Because there will be gaps. And what I mean by gaps is that we all came from different backgrounds. Are we together? We all came from different backgrounds. And the background that you are coming from will affect to a large extent how your emotional state is being formed. If you come from, let me give you this interesting story. Last week, Wednesday, I led our organization to help the Ministry of Education to train school counselors across Osun State. And so I decided to invite one of my ogas, who is one of my lecturers at the University of Ibadan. Is the HOD of my department, so that he could join me in the training. So when it was time for his session, after I finished my session, so he was taking the counselor in his session. I shared a very interesting story with them. He said there was this boy, man now, that they brought to him. They said he has, because my guy is a specialist in maladjustment behavior. That is, behaviors that are abnormal. And one of his strengths is to help adjust behaviors that are abnormal. So they brought this guy to him, that this guy, anytime he is employed, in less than 5-6 months, they must sack him. And he has done about 15 jobs, the same pattern. And so, aside from saying it is demon or Ishaye, they also felt he should see a counseling psychologist. So, my God said, as soon as they came, he said, why do they normally sack you? So they found out that, he found out that anywhere he gets to, he goes to look at women's breasts. And he can just stay like this and be looking and gazing at the breast. And sometimes he will grab their breasts. So when he does the first one or second one, they will send him packing. And how do you interpret it? Owaye, Abi? Follow come or village people. But my God said he requested to see the mother. So they brought the mother. So he asked the mother, how did you give birth to this boy? So the mother said, I gave birth to him out of wedlock. And my mother collected him from me. And he grew up mostly with my mother. And he's a clingy person. Anyway, long and short of your story is that they found out that the foundational reason why it's like that is that the guy didn't suck breasts when he was a baby. So he was fixated. You see, there are children who may go through that and nothing will happen to them. That's why you find out there are some children, they are always clinging to their mother. And there are some children, when their mother leaves them, they can play and go. Nothing will happen to them. You see, that child that is clinging to the mother, if you detach that child too early, there may be problem in the emotional balance of that child in the future. Are you following me at all now? So my God said, you know what we are going to do for this man? We are going to marry. And when we are going to marry for him, we are going to get a woman that has a kumbaf. But guess what? That's exactly what he did for him. And then the problem resolved. So his challenge was emotional gap. Are you following me at all now? So what I'm trying to say is that people grow up from the same setting, from different setting, with different emotional gaps. And when you come into marital relationship with a person, you've got to take initiative to be able to identify what that gap is and fill it. Because if you don't fill that emotional gap, it is that gap that will create problem in your marriage. When I got married to my wife doesn't like to ask for things. Even up to now, she's getting better. Because I had to now train her by filling that gap. She doesn't have to ask, she doesn't like to ask me. And unfortunately for me, myself, I get many things I'm doing. So I keep doing things I don't. Since you didn't ask, if you need to ask, you will ask me. If you don't ask, life continues. But the thing also pains her that I am not also doing. And I'm saying, I'm not a wish. How will I know? And one day, but this one is impactful conversation. So we sat down to really talk about it. And I'm like, baby, ask me if there is a need. And then we can move on from there. And then as we discussed, I found out that there was a foundational problem. When she was young, maybe if she asked her father one or two things, and the man will say no, because the man also has so many things, you can say no. But she has a younger sister. If the father says no, say, Daddy, I'll go to search your pockets. I'll look for them. I'll get money out. That one was bolder. That one was. But my wife, once the father said no, no is no. She just leaves it at that. So she grew up thinking that if I ask, I don't like anybody to tell me no. So she got married to me. She doesn't want to ask me because she grew up with an emotional baggage that says the man will say no. And yet, inside, she's not happy. So she will carry the frustration and knock it on me. And it's not my fault. Tell me, I need this, and then I'll go and look for it. Don't presume in your mind. Should he not know that he should give me? And he's not giving me. It's a stupid man. Do you get what I'm saying now? Okay, but the point I'm making is that you've got to take initiative to feel that emotional gap. And thank God that we're able to resolve the matter, and then we can move on. Some people never resolve such matters. Are we together? And if they don't resolve it, there will be problem. I'll give you another one. A lady was raped while she was young. And the rape left a scar in her mind. So she doesn't like sex. She got married. And every time the husband says, let's go to the inner room, it's war. So she's comfortable that they are just talking. They are just, but not. So they can go 2 months, no show. It was that problem. We had to take time to resolve it and look at possible ways to help take the pain. So what happened to her is that the pain from when she was a teenager was somewhere in the mind, and she carried that emotional baggage. If we didn't resolve it, there will be no way forward. Are we together? So when you're in a marital relationship, you must take initiative to identify the emotional gaps and fill them. And sometimes it's not even a problem. It's not that there is a problem. It's just the fact that your spouse has emotional needs. Sometimes they just need you to be there for them. Are you following me at all now? Some women just like touch. They like it. It's not only women, some men also like touch. That you just touch them. And then you feel like it doesn't matter. No, it matters. So you've got to find out. And then fill that gap. Meet that need. Are we still talking here? Some men like their wife to talk to them. That's when you now say you are tired. You don't like to talk. Your mouth is heavy. Kilo heavy anyway. We need to put rotor in your mouth so that your mouth will talk. You know, before I used to think that it's only women that like to talk. Some men likes to talk. And if you don't talk to them, you are injuring them. We should call you a wicked soul. Are we together? Because really, when you get married, it's really no longer about you. It's about the two of you. And the two shall become one. Are you following me at all now? So you've got to identify that gap and then make effort to intentionally, without them telling you, you take steps. Let's assume that you find out that your spouse, your wife, or your husband likes to talk. It means that you have to talk even when you don't feel like talking. Are you following me at all? You have to take the step to talk. When I got married to my wife, I noticed that because she was firstborn, there was a lot of expectation on her having to be strong for everybody. So she grew up with the fact that she has to be strong for everybody. But there is an emotional gap inside that is also crying for somebody to be strong for her. But you know, when you are trained with this thing that you have to be strong for everybody, even when you have need, you still have to be strong for everybody. And God helped me to identify that quite early. So I began to dive into it. Sometimes I'm playing with her. Sometimes I'm carrying her like a baby and all that. And sometimes I'm very tired. I really don't have this, but I still have to do it because I know that I need to fill that gap. And sometimes when I'm doing it, she says, leave me, oh. But I have enough common sense that leave me means do more. Oh, God. Number what are we? Number 5. All right. Take initiative to take responsibilities. What do I mean by that? You see, when you enter into a marital relationship, there are roles that you have come to play in the life of your spouse. And I mean what I mean. Let me explain what I mean. Sometimes as a lady, when you come into the life of your spouse, part of your role might be that you have come to become their mother. You marry a man who has lost his mother when he was young. That man may really not know what the care of a mother is. And part of your duty in the life of that man is to serve like a mother. And when I'm saying serve like a mother, I don't mean that you now become his disciplinarian. You cannot do that one. No. Because the idea of the mother that some people have is very funny. For a man who has lost his mother when he was young, what that man may probably need is the care and the love of a mother. The brooding care of a mother. And you want to identify that this is my responsibility in this person's life. And you play that role appropriately. Sometimes you enter into the life of your partner and your role is that of an advisor. Hello? Because in their journey, they don't have too many people that advise them. They don't have too many counselors. And you will know when you check their life, how many persons does this my spouse have as counselor? Who are the people that this my spouse speak to about issues of life? And then you'll find out that technically it might be you most of the time. And your role is that of a counselor. And you must take that role very serious. Some of us never know that when you enter people's life, you are not meant to just be there to occupy space. You are meant to carry out functions. So you've got to identify what is the role that I've come to play in this person's life and what are the tasks, what are the responsibilities attached to this role. You are not in fact, general relationship that's not even marital. You are not to get into any relationship with people. You are not to relate with people and not know what your functions are. What are your roles? What are the functions you've come to play in that life? Talk less of your own spouse, the person that you have chosen to marry. You've got to identify what are your roles in their lives. What roles do you play? Sometimes you play a role as an encourager. When they are down, you are there for them. Are you following me, Antonio? Sometimes you play the role of a motivator in their lives. That you are the reason why they can face the wall. Because when everything is upside down, the way you talk to them motivates them. Say, yeah, I can take the mountain. I can fix it. Because somebody is at home talking to them. Are you following me, Antonio? Sometimes you are in their lives to actually be a burden bearer. They tell you about it, say, hey, okay, you know what? I will help you to do this one. I help you to do this one. And then what looks so big in their mind is resolved. I was talking to a man which other day. No, the woman was the one I was talking to, who now talked about before the man started talking. The woman was able to do a PhD with so many challenges. So I was wondering how she was able to do it. And then she said, guess what? It's my husband. When the husband encouraged her to go and do a PhD, she told the man, see, I have children. I have to go to work. I have to do this. So there were many things on the table that really, when you look at it on the natural, is impossible. So the man said, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'll take care of the children at certain times. Some of your paperwork, I will help you to do them. You will read through them. So I will help you to arrange them. And then you read through them, and then we'll talk together. Because they were both in the same, almost similar fields. And then he said, so I'll help you to do this, arrange together. And then all you will just do is look through and then put it the way you want to put it. So I'll help you scan for the material. And that's exactly what the man was doing. He will scan for the material, gather them and all of that, arrange them and present to her. Then she will now put everything in her own words. Sometimes the man will take care of the children and then take the custody of the children so that she doesn't have to think about it. And then step by step, she was able to finish. And so she was telling me, say, kudos to my husband. No, in fact, this PhD is even for her, is even for him. He's the one that made it happen. What has happened is that that man had identified his role in the life of the woman and was responsible. You've got to actually make up your mind that you want to be responsible in the life of the person and take initiative. You don't have to wait. Are you following me at all now? You don't have to wait for them to ask. You've got to take responsibility, take initiative, take the steps that are necessary. Because when you are in the life of your partner, you must identify the gap that you should fill. You must see the things that you should fix. You are not there just to be there to occupy space. You have to fix something. Hello? You are in somebody's life to make their life better. So if you enter the life of a man or the life of a woman and we look at that life in 5 years' time and we cannot see a positive difference, we need to come and check you. Because when you get into the life of that man or the life of that woman, we should see positive difference. And what makes it so is that you are able to come in and take responsibility. Are we together? Number what are we? Number 6. I think I should take that step further. And that means you should take initiative in doing supportive tasks. There are tasks that your partner will do or will be engaged with, that it is your own, part of your own duties to take initiative to help them with those tasks. Let's take, for example, your wife washes clothes. She washes the plates. She cooks the food. She cleans the house. She takes care of the children. Those are tasks. You must take initiative to take some of those tasks away from her and fill the gap. If that home, and she doesn't need to tell you. Are you following me at all now? And if you know you cannot do it, find somebody that will help them to do it. I remember when I first got married, I've shared that story with you many times. I was a ballet. We go to work together, we come back home together, and then my wife will cook, my wife will wash the clothes, she will sweep the floor, do everything, and then one day she just started crying. And then, you don't love me, you don't love me, you don't love me. I said, Amanda, I don't love you and I marry you. What kind of ground are you saying? Are you saying? After saying you don't love, you women, you are very funny. Sometimes you will not really go to where the problem is. So I really couldn't understand why she's saying I don't love her. I said, how can you say I don't love you? He said, you don't love me. Your action shows that you don't love me. What action shows that I don't love you? It took us time before she will now finally say that I don't help her in the kitchen. I don't help her in the... I said, you don't love me, you don't love me. Anyway, to cut the long story short, I still did not agree because I'm like, my training was that kitchen is the women's office. So why must I come to the kitchen with you? Why must I didn't see... if a man that grew up in a setting where the mother is available, the mother says you should come and cook, it's a different game. Me, I didn't grow up in that setting. In fact, in my family, it's the men, it's the women that do the cooking. So the women do the cooking for the house. What we simply do is that if there is need for water, we fetch the water in the jars, the hard labor and all that. But they are the ones that do cooking. Who has that time? So I can't understand what she was saying. So finally, we had to go to my discipler. And then as we tabled the matter, the man looked at me and laughed. He said, Shegun, you will kill your wife. And I'm like, as in, then he began to break it down to me. He said, you two also think about it. You went to work, she went to work. You both came back from work. And then those days we used to come back maybe 8, 9, 10. And then you will come back at that time. She will now enter the kitchen. Then as she's in the kitchen, she's going to the bedroom to wash clothes at the same time. It's not ideal and all that. So, but as he was talking, I saw my foolishness. So I changed, and then I began to fill the gap. And I saw that my wife was more productive. And then as time went by, the work was so consuming that I didn't have time. So I engaged the service of people. So I began to employ people to come and serve that I was paying. So that when she even gave birth to children, I saw that, look, the wisdom is not to leave her with children. So I employed somebody who will come carry the baby. At the time, we said she was going to do exclusive. She was going to have to feed them for 6 months. So I employed somebody who will carry the baby with her to the office, hold the baby for her intermittently, and then give her the baby, then she feeds the baby, and then she continues her job. And that was because we said she was going to do exclusive for that period of time. So I had to fill it out because in those areas I could not physically do. The point I'm making is that when you get into a marital relationship, you must take initiative to do supportive tasks. And as a woman, you must know what's your supportive task for your husband. Because there are supportive tasks that you can do for your husband as a woman too. What are the things that you can feel as gap for your husband? Where, these are his job. Yes, I agree. But can you look at him and consider him and say, cool, let me do this one for you. It shows, it communicates a lot. And then finally, take initiative in demonstrating love and care. Everybody wants to feel loved. Hello? And the more you show your spouse, your partner, that you love them, the better for you. And you show it in several ways, not in only one way. That's why you have to be creative to show that I really care about you. Sometimes it's in buying gifts. Are you following me at all? Sometimes it's in just embracing them, just cuddling them, just holding them to just show I care, I really love you. My heart is with you. Are you following me at all? Every individual wants to feel loved. Not only do they want to feel loved, they want to feel cared for. Are we together? As a woman, you can look at your husband and say, this is your hair. I'm going to call a barber to come and help you barb it. Scared. And then you pay the barber. He doesn't need to. It's not only men that should pay for the hair of women. A woman can pay for the hair of the man. Are we together? Just show that you care. Hello. Show that you just love and you care. And you take steps. You don't wish it, you take steps. It's not bad to come home sometimes with a jar of ice cream for your wife. Are you following me at all now? And I'm saying that because she doesn't need to demand for it. That you do it without her asking sends a message to the heart. Because when you are in a marital relationship, it's a heart-to-heart communication. And to a large extent, it's not the size. It's the heart. Okay, let me stop there and then we take questions. I hope that makes sense.
Praise God. So we take a count now so that we can, one after the other, our daddy can attend to the questions. All right, so Pastor Paul and then, Minister Abraham.
Okay. Good afternoon, Daddy.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening.
I actually have questions in two parts. But the first one I want to ask is, when you were talking about filling emotional gaps and needs, I remember last month you were talking about value-driven relationship, that we must have what guides our actions, that if something like that, if we don't have it in place, the children could look directionless, even if resources are available.
Yeah.
So now, Okay, growing up for me personally, I can't remember any of my childhood, whatever it is, with my dad because he traveled when we were few. I remember when I was about 2 or 3. So most time we traveled to meet him where he was and that. So the bond was not exactly as strong as it should be until after my mom.
Oh God, what's happening now?
Died, I think it took close to 8 years before the bond now got to where it should be. So I made up my mind that no matter what happens, especially at the growing phase of the children, I will do the best I can. That was what was on my head. So when they came. I didn't know they were coming. I thought it was maybe one person and you do all you have to do. So when they now came in multiples, and from what I read, they're like, okay, you don't have to be closer to one than the other. You can't show partiality to one than the other. You have to do it equally. And I also have my wife. Because there are points where it look as if I seem to be giving more attention to the children compared to her. So my question now is, how does one balance how do I put it now? How does one balance it equally in such a way that I'm still present in the lives of the children without my wife feeling neglected, especially at that growing phase, knowing that there might be a point in my life where I might have to be traveling and I might not be as available as I should be. Then that's the first question. Then the second one is it's more of how do we adjust our visions in line with the foundation already. There are things you've already said when they get to this phase of life, this is what they should do, and that is in your head. Because naturally, I didn't grow up talking like that. So unless I'm forced, I don't get to discuss what's in my head. It's usually when you see my actions and you now ask me, and you have to ask me to a point where I now have to tell you, okay, this is exactly why I'm doing this. So I didn't grow up to understand that you have to be telling people what you have to do. I only bring it up when I need a contrary opinion or I want to assess what I'm doing. So how do I adjust my vision in such a way that what I had originally that was planned for one person at a time can be adjusted in such a way that it will still be effective for 2 people? I don't know if you understand.
No,
maybe you plan the best school for one person. Now it's 2. So you have to now, if you are planning 2 schools for 2 people and it's not a different phase of life, it means it might go beyond the resources or whatever it is you had planned earlier. So how do you still readjust that to still give the best to the people around you?
All right, thank you. Let me first start with that, your second question. And I'll start from the angle where you said you have it in your head, you are not used to talking about it. Let me first help your mind. Women, you must talk about what you have in your head. If you don't talk about what you have in your head with a woman, you are looking for trouble. And I mean big trouble. In matters to do with the family, that has to do with planning for the family, the children, to some extent, women don't like surprises. You may have good intentions, but if you do it without carrying them along, your good intention will be fought. Let's say, for example, now, you plan to take your children to a very good school, very expensive school, and you save the money. It's not a good thing to take your children to a very expensive school. If you don't carry your wife along and suddenly you just come one day and say, from tomorrow, they are going to Sususo school. Even though the money is more expensive, the school is better, the woman will fight you. Because she feels left out. A woman doesn't like to feel she doesn't have a say. I don't know if I'm making sense. So there must be intentional carrying along. Okay. So if we settle that. Now when it comes to, okay, I've planned for 1 and now I have 2. Or the plan I'm having now, the resources to carry it out will only do 1. That's why there's flexibility. One must now think outside the box. Okay, I want the best for them. So what exactly? I might now strip it down to the barest minimum. If my resources cannot carry it, okay, let me give you practical examples. There were times that I wanted certain things for my children. And I looked at it because we have a policy, my wife and I had a policy. We are not going to do for one what we are not going to do for the other. And we'll consider what we have. And we have to step down in terms of price and come to something that looks a little more closer, but that is not very expensive, so that we can create the needed balance. But the gap we supplemented with something else. I also remember that there was a time I took them from a school that was more expensive and took them to a school that was less expensive. And when we took them to school that was less expensive, I created things that will be a balance to what they will be losing in that other one, so that everything can work well. Because I had to ask myself, what do I need them to be in this school for? I noted them out. And then if I take them to this school that was less, what will be? And then I created a balance. So it's a function of thinking it out, and then one will find out that there is always alternate options. There's always something else that one can consider, and then you fill in that gap. Then when you talk about the first question, which has to do with being present for the children without your wife feeling, before 3 years, before the age 3, yes, your children needs you, but more, they need you to love their mom. I found this by experience. You see, there's a way children can sense when you love their mom. Because when they are 0-8 till 1, from 0-8 till 3, it is the mom that can give them most of what they need. And you show them love more by showing their mom a lot of love. You pour love on their mother. You know, it is love for their mother that makes you to carry them when they are giving their mother a little challenge. It's love for their mother. Naturally, children before 1, they like to stay with their mother. And then sometimes it becomes overwhelming for the woman. And then you are coming around and then you are helping to carry them and all of that. It's a lot about you just showing the mother care. That's what they want to see. Now, once they now begin to get to about 2 years old, 2, 3, then you now begin to come in with a lot of play. Because what they want at that time is not so much about the quantity of time. Are we together? What they need is not the quantity of time, is the quality of time. So with the quality of time, what you want to do is that you want to make your time with them memorable. I remember those days I used to spend time with my children, and then we do pillow. But I do that mostly weekends. And then maybe a few times during the weekday, maybe they didn't go to school. Because usually they are busy doing something. I'm busy during the day. And then when I come in the night, they are probably ready to sleep and all of that. But a few days, maybe there is a public holiday or something like that. When I come in the evening, I try to close early. And then we just run around. I throw pillow with them. I giggle them and all of that. And my intention is to ensure that the time I spend with them is something that they can remember. I don't know if I'm making sense at all. Is my presence around, it creates an effect that they won't forget. That, so if it's 1 hour, if it is 2 hours, if it's 3 hours, it creates something that they can't forget. Then I also now plan outings together. Sometimes take them to eateries. Sometimes take them just, and it's not necessarily that we buy anything that is very big. I remember the first time I took them from Elisha, brought them to Sheraton. That should be about maybe about 10, 15 years ago or thereabouts. And then when I brought them to Sheraton, all we did was to buy a bottle of Coke. That's all. I just took them in, and then I gave them money and asked them to go and buy a bottle of Coke. Because at that time, I could not afford the buffet. Do you get what I'm saying now? But as God blesses and I could afford the buffet, we then go there to go and do the buffet. We go to Radisson Blue to do the buffet. Not because sometimes when I'm spending the money, not because there are nothing I wanted to do with the money, but because I want to create moments that they will remember that, this was what my dad did with us at such time. So sometimes it's not the quantity of time, it's the quantity of time. But I can bet you, pour love on their mother. I have found out that the reason why men suffer in their old age, there is a movement now that is saying, men, be there for yourself. Men, take care of yourself. Me, I'm telling you, I say my own. No. You see all those movements of men, take care of yourself. I have found out if a man shows a lot of love for his wife and the children see it, they won't forget that man. I've observed. Men that they forget at their old age are men who did not play their part or their wives are wicked. There are some women that are wicked. No matter what the man does, they will tell the children the man is not doing anything. They will hide whatever the man does in secret. But God will help you not to marry such kind of women. And women, please don't be that kind of woman that you don't tell your children what their father is doing. A lady was telling me of recent that it is when the father died that they got to know that the father was paying their school fees. They never knew. Because the man will give it to the mother, so the mother will say she's the one doing it. She says she's the one, everything that is there, she's the one doing. Because the man will just give the money to her, and she's the one. That's wickedness. And then the daughter was very bitter because she felt the mother didn't allow them to do the dues, to pay the dues they are supposed to pay to their fathers. All right. Okay, let's take the next one.
Praise God. Okay, I want to ask question regarding number 5.
All right.
Points you gave, taking initiative in supporting tax. Okay, I want to play a scenario like 2, whereby husband is coming from work, call home and, how are you doing? I'm fine. Check on the wife and the children. And the wife said, okay, I'm washing clothes at the moment. So when you come back, you come and dry it. And he got to the wrong.
So, Abi?
Yes, to the husband. The husband called on a normal, which is a normal thing that the husband does, support the wife in those areas before. Or just call him that very day and be like, how are you doing? Oh, what are you doing? I'm washing clothes. Oh. So I'm keeping them for you. When you come back, you come and spread them. And it turned out to be another thing. Then another scenario, the man cooks, in supporting in the house, cooks, and there's this particular day, peel yam, and probably peel more yam with the peel, with the back. And the wife snapped it, sent it to him at his place of work. I was like, next time when you are doing this, I've told you not to be peeling yam in this way. And such man, my question is, would such man really be moved to be of support next time?
Well, again, that man then needs to know that there is a deeper problem. The deeper problem is that when you check that woman's life, either of these two things might have been happening in the home that she came from. One, it's possible that her mother is the lord of the house where she's coming from. So she learned by example. Or the father oppressed the mother so much that she made up her mind that she was not going to be oppressed. So she stood in the reactive mode. Now, it is the job of the man to now find out where is this woman coming from. Because those actions, they are symptoms of more serious problem. So if they were to come to me on a counseling table, first, the fact that she said to the man, I'm washing clothes, I'm leaving them for you, I'll tell the man not to help her in clothes washing for some time. Not forever, but for some time. And the reason will be that the woman is the home builder, the home keeper. But she must not have an impression that the husband must necessarily be responsible for certain home chores. Oh, I have washed the place, you go and sweep the floor. I have swept the floor, you go and wash the clothes. The man should fill those gaps. But when a woman starts to divide the job along that line, then it's going to become a problem. Because by nature, women get irritated when things are not done the way they expect it to be done. And so the woman will begin to cross the boundaries of honor if she already set in her mind that this must be his job. It's a different case if she says, honey, I'm washing the clothes now. I need to go to the market. Please, when you come back, help me spread it. Totally different ballgame. But I'm washing the clothes now. I'm leaving it for you. When you come and spread it. It's something is wrong there. And it has to be corrected. Otherwise, it will become a problem. Now, for the yam, I don't see anything much in that. Because it's just a function of, she sees, why will you cut yam like this? And then she says, oh God, see the way you cut yam now. No, they cut yam there. And that one is not, it's really not abnormal. You know, I've shared with you before, my wife likes you use towel, put it in a particular place. Me, I finish using towel, I can go and put it on the bed, wear my clothes or enter my clothes or my clothes enters me, and then I go out. And then sometimes she can come and say, SH, you put the towel on the bed again. I told you that you should not be putting it on the bed. Put it where you used to put it. That one is not a crime. It's just reminding you how you should do it and do it better. And I don't think, but the first one, there is a red flag. And a man must, because a man must be soft, must be understanding with his wife, but must not lose the headship. I speak a lot about men assisting their wife, being supportive, and all of that. But I never will encourage that the man should lose its headship. Because anything that has two heads is a monster. Things must never degenerate to the point where the woman is dictating what should be done. It must never degenerate. Yes, a woman can, I was speaking to, is it the men or the women? I was speaking to I do the weekly online meeting that I do. PSO speaks to ladies. That is men or the women I was speaking to. No. Yes. PSO speaks to couples. And I was telling them that from my research of the Bible and life, I found out that both men and women are leaders. They are leaders in the home. The husband is supposed to be a leader. The wife is supposed to be a leader. It's only that where they lead is different. The strength of the leadership of a woman is subtle influence. The strength of leadership of the man is vision and direction. So the woman leads the family by influencing the man. And when you check all through the scriptures, women who truly lead, they led by influence. How did Esther gain her ground? Influence. Hallelujah. Okay, yeah. Esther didn't come to tell the king, this is what you should do. If you remember, what took Vashti out of the throne was that she did not know how to use influence. The man said, let Vashti come out. He said, go and tell him I cannot come. And just that, the Bible says, the leaders of the land said, this woman must be dethroned because other women will hear and then they will teach their, they will treat their husband badly. But did you know that Esther made the king to kill a whole human being? Vashti didn't say the man should go and kill anybody. But Esther made the king to kill Haman. Esther made the king to reverse his own order that had been signed with a signet. She exercised her leadership. But what was her leadership? Influence. Another woman to be studied is Jezebel. She's Wiri Pambele. But check Jezebel. It was influence that Jezebel has. Jezebel has very strong influence on her husband. She puts her influence in the right perspective. Jezebel never controlled Ahab. Never instructed Ahab, but she controlled Ahab. Are you with me at all now? She had very strong persuasive influence around Ahab. And when you read the story, you would think that Ahab is the wife. Not because Jezebel was out saying, this is what you should not do, and all of that. It was subtle. So the strength of a woman is in her subtle influence. A woman can use cry, tears to make a man do anything. Subtle influence. But once a woman comes out and says, this is how it must be, this is what it must be, there's fire on the mountain. That man needs to tame it. Otherwise, there will be more problem. All right.
Please, sir, I've had this question for a while. I've just been thinking through it. By observation, I discovered that when people say, I don't want to make the mistake that maybe a man saying what my dad did or a woman saying what, I end up discovering, at least from, I've been doing it for when I was young, maybe 10, 15 years, after a while, because most of us didn't have privilege to know the decision they made before they gave birth to us. So what we could observe were the decision they made when we've gotten to a level where we could observe. So a man may not even know that he's already walking the same steps they walked before the whole thing now backfire 15 years down the line.
Yeah.
So how do we, beyond what we say, beyond reading, how do we get to a point where we make better decisions than our parents?
Thank you. That's a very wonderful question. You said beyond reading. I will not agree beyond reading because reading is very important. One must gather all information that form the context, the setting in which one's parents were when they were making their decisions, so that you will better appreciate or understand why they made their decision. I'll give you an example. I always say to you, my father and my mother divorced when I was 2 years old. But going by the context that they were in, I learned certain lessons. Number one, my grandfather had very strong influence on my father. You can imagine when they bought their first car, my grandfather said they should bring it to him. He needs to be the one driving the car. So they should go and buy their car. My grandfather would give birth to children and ask my father and my mother to come and do the naming. And naming that time, if you don't kill goats, if you don't kill agbo or the ram, you have not done naming. So he will go and impregnate women and then ask my father. So they will go from Lagos to Ikorodu to go and do naming. he has very strong grip. Then the family had some input. So for that reason, my mother was not enjoying it. Unfortunately, my mother too is an hot-tempered person. So hot-tempered versus hot-tempered, plus family influence. Am I making sense, Otona? So it couldn't stand. So I learned from what was their mistakes. I remember one of those days I was talking to my mom, and because my mom had, say, four or five husbands. And you know, it's very easy for you to look at your mistake of your mom or your dad and say they didn't do well. But I just asked, I said, so just talk to me. Why did you marry 6 men? And she busted into tears. She looked at me and said, you know, there's not much knowledge like your days. Said, my days, once something is going wrong in your marriage, people advise you to move on. Say, so you move on. And then, say, when she wants to stand alone, because she was a very industrious person. You know, she's one of the earliest people that was sewing for Nigerian customs, Nigerian prison, their uniform. Myself and my dad were the ones taking the contracts those days. I mean, there are some of the people taking the contract, some of the major people taking the contracts for their uniform. And so she could as well have stayed alone. So she said people will come to her and say, talk about Connie, Okola Afeo, that it's not good for a woman to be without a man over her. So she will enter into another. And then she enters, and then 2-3 years down the lane, some things will happen again. And then she will have to jet out. And then she wants to stand alone, and then people come and tell her, and that's how she found us. And with tears. So the last home she stayed, she said, I had to tell myself, I'm not moving again. So she had to endure whatever it is. And you know what she told me? She said, if I had known, I would have endured it from the first place. So guess what I did? I learned lesson. I don't know if I'm making sense at all now. I learned lesson that, okay, so you may divorce without you wanting to divorce. You know what I'm saying now? You may get into, so it's easier for someone to look and say, what a nonsense my parents did. I will never do what they did. If you don't understand the mindset that led them there, you will probably find yourself in a situation that you will replicate exactly what they did. For example, some people say, the way my mother beat me, I will never beat my child like that. Until you get to a situation where you find out that you're already beating your child like that. Or sometimes you even go to the extreme. Instead of now beating your child, you will now spoil the child. Which is not different from what they also did. It's still damage. So the wisdom is to try to understand what was the contextual setting. What led to what they did. Why did they do what they did? For my dad, I found out that he was quick to get angry. And he doesn't like a woman insulting. A mieso doable. And then his ego is quick to be say obne kanfa emi omo ekurudu eluku mede o shale jeje bi eni orobinrin bi ogo bi ogun aya won be nile a woman. That's it. So I learned that my ego must go inside the dustbin. I don't know if I'm making sense to now. I've shared with you before. One day I did something for my wife. I didn't know how I irritated her, you know. Maybe I said something that I should not say or something like that. I just had twice. My eyes saw stars. And guess what I did? I prostrated and I apologized. Say, I'm sorry. Because I've said something that she didn't like. And then she just busted into tears and went on the floor and said, I never. But I also know that it wasn't that she wanted to slap me. It was a reflex action. She didn't like what I did or what I said, and what I said must have been very offensive, and then there was a reaction to it. Are you following me at all? But if I behave like my dad, see, him, Ubili. No, that's the end. No, never. I will never take it. You'll just be divorced like your father. And you repeat the same pattern. Am I making sense at all now? So once you understand what made them to make those mistakes, and then you just avoid it. That makes sense. All right, thank you.
Can you continue to jam your hands together and please, in your seated position,